The great hall of the Galactic Council stretched upward like the inside of a giant shell. Lights of every color floated in the air. Hundreds of alien species sat in their seats, arranged in circles that went higher and higher toward the ceiling. The room smelled strange, like metal and flowers mixed together. Ambassador stood at the center of it all, feeling very small. He had been to this place many times before, 53 times to be exact. He knew because he counted every visit. Every time he came with hope. Every time he left with nothing. But today felt different. Today, Earth had sent its best proposal yet. Years of work. Thousands of scientists. Millions of pages of research. All compressed into one simple request. Let humans join the Galactic Trade Network. Was not a tall man. He had a round face and kind eyes. Back on Earth, people said he looked like someone's friendly uncle. He wore the dark blue uniform of Earth's diplomatic corps. On his chest was a small pin shaped like Earth. He touched it now, feeling its smooth surface under his fingers. Behind him stood his crew, was the youngest, barely 25 years old. She had sharp eyes and quick hands. She handled all communications. Next to her was Wu, a big man with shoulders like mountains. He was their security chief, though he had never needed to use force. Not yet. And finally there was the oldest of them. Her hair was gray at the edges. She had been doing this job for 30 years. She had seen more rejections than anyone. The delegate rose from his seat. They were tall creatures, almost 3 meters high. They had pale blue skin and 4 arms. Their eyes were like black marbles, showing no emotion. This one was named Coordinator Prill. He was the most powerful voice on the council. "We have reviewed the human proposal," Prill said. His voice was cold and flat. A translation device turned his words into sounds that could understand. Again. That single word hung in the air. Again, felt his stomach tighten. "The council has decided," Prill continued. "Humans are not ready for integration into galactic society." Whispers spread through the hall. Some aliens made sounds that might have been laughter. Others simply stared with their strange eyes. Stepped forward. "Coordinator, if I may ask why." "You may not," Prill cut him off. "But I will tell you anyway, because perhaps repetition will finally make you understand." The delegate walked to the center of the room. His 4 arms moved in patterns that had learned to recognize as contempt. "Humans come from a death world," Prill announced to the council. "Their planet has extreme temperatures, violent weather, dangerous predators. The very air they breathe was once poison. Their bodies are designed to survive, not to think, not to create, not to cooperate." Felt heat rise to his face. Behind him he heard Wu shift his weight, made a small sound of anger. "We have reviewed your history," Prill continued. "War after war, genocide, destruction of your own environment. You killed millions of your own kind over differences in skin color, over invisible gods, over lines drawn on maps." The council members made sounds of disgust. An insect-like species clicked its mandibles. A creature made of floating gas swirled faster in its containment field. "You are animals," Prill said simply. "Clever animals, yes. You learn to build ships and leave your violent world, but you bring your violence with you. You bring your aggression, your need to dominate. The galaxy has known peace for 10,000 years. We will not let primitive beasts destroy that peace." His hands were shaking. He forced them to be still. He had trained for this. He had prepared for insults. But hearing them spoken so plainly in front of hundreds of species still hurt. "We have changed," said. His voice was steady, though his heart was racing. "Earth united 50 years ago. We ended our wars. We healed our planet. We came to the stars in peace." 50 years, Prill repeated. "My species has existed for 2 million years. 50 years is nothing. 50 years is a single breath. You cannot change what you are in a single breath." Stepped forward. Her voice was calm and measured. "Coordinator, every species has a violent past. Even the fought wars long ago." Prill turned his black eyes toward her. We evolved beyond violence 300,000 years ago. You were still living in caves, killing each other with rocks." The hall erupted in what might have been laughter again. Strange sounds from strange throats, felt the weight of it pressing down on him. "The proposal is rejected," Prill announced. "Humans may continue to use the outer trade lanes. You may purchase technology at standard rates, but you will not join the network. You will not have a seat on this council. You will not be treated as equals." He paused. "Because you are not equals." Wanted to argue. He wanted to list all the things humanity had achieved, the diseases they had cured, the art they had created, the kindness they showed to strangers, but he had said all of this before, 52 times before. The words meant nothing here. "The human delegation may leave," Prill said. "We have more important matters to discuss." Turned and walked toward the exit. His crew followed in silence. The long walk felt longer than ever. Aliens watched them go. Some looked curious. Most looked indifferent. A few looked disgusted, as if watching insects crawl across a clean floor. They reached the door, was crying quietly. She wiped her eyes quickly, ashamed of her tears. Wu's jaw was tight, his hands curled into fists. Simply looked tired, like someone who had run out of hope. Stopped at the door and turned back for one last look. Coordinator Prill had already moved on to other business. The humans were forgotten. They had never mattered at all. As the door closed behind them, made a decision. He did not know what he would do yet. He did not have a plan, but something had changed inside him. A door had closed, yes, but another door had opened. For 50 years, humanity had knocked politely on the galaxy's door. They had asked nicely. They had followed the rules. They had accepted every insult with grace and patience. Perhaps it was time to stop knocking. Perhaps it was time to kick the door down. The ship was called the Bright Dawn. It was not the biggest ship in Earth's fleet, but it was fast and reliable. Had commanded it for 7 years. He knew every corner, every sound, every strange smell that came from the engine room. Right now, he sat in the common room, staring at a cup of cold tea. Sat across from him. Her eyes were still red from crying, but her face was hard now. The sadness had turned into something else, something sharper. Wu stood by the window looking out at the stars. Sat in her usual chair, her hands folded in her lap. Nobody spoke for a long time. The hum of the ship's engines filled the silence. 53 times, finally said. Her voice was quiet but steady. "I have been on 12 of those missions. 12 times I watched them laugh at us. 12 times I heard them call us animals." "I have been on all 53, said. "It never gets easier." Wu turned from the window. His face was calm, but his eyes burned with cold fire. "What do we do now? Go home. Tell Earth that we failed again, that we need to wait another 50 years. Lifted his cup and looked at the brown liquid inside. He had not taken a single sip. "When I was a boy," he said slowly, "my grandfather told me a story. He said that our family once lived in a small village. Other villages would come and steal their food, take their animals, hurt their people." The others listened in silence. "For many years our village tried to talk to the others. They sent gifts. They asked for peace. They tried to make friends, but the other villages only saw weakness. They took more, hurt more," set down the cup. "Then one day my ancestors stopped asking. They built walls, they made weapons. They trained every man, woman, and child to fight. When the other villages came again, they found something different waiting for them." "What happened?" asked. "The raids stopped," said simply. "Not because our village became evil, not because they wanted war, but because they showed strength. And strength sometimes is the only language that bullies understand." Leaned forward. "What are you saying?" He looked at her with eyes that had grown old in the past few hours. "I am saying that Earth has been the small village for too long. We have sent gifts. We have asked nicely. We have let them hurt us again and again, hoping that kindness would win them over." He paused. "It has not worked. It will never work. They do not respect kindness. They see it as weakness." Wu's face did not change, but something flickered in his eyes. You are talking about showing force. I am talking about being honest about what we are, said. They call us like it is an insult. They say we are aggressive, violent, dangerous. Well, perhaps they are right. Perhaps we are all of those things. He stood up and walked to the window. The stars stretched endlessly before him. But we are also survivors. We survived ice ages. We survived plagues. We survived the worst that our own planet could throw at us. We survived ourselves. Stood up too. Her voice was eager now, the tears forgotten. The galaxy has been at peace for 10,000 years. They have never faced a real threat. They have grown soft. Exactly, said. They do not understand conflict. They do not understand determination. They built their society on cooperation because they had no choice. Their bodies are weak. Their worlds are safe. They never had to fight for survival like we did. Raised a hand. Wait, think about what you are suggesting. If we show aggression, they will turn against us completely. We will be alone in a hostile galaxy. We are already alone, replied. They have made that very clear. The question is whether we remain alone and weak or alone and strong. Wu walked to the center of the room. For a big man, he moved quietly. I did not join the diplomatic corps to start wars, but I am tired of bowing to creatures who have never known hardship. I am tired of being treated like a disease that needs to be contained. We are not starting a war, said firmly. We are changing the conversation. For 50 years we asked, please let us join you. Now we say, we do not need your permission. We will take our place among the stars with or without your approval. Was packing now, her mind working fast. The outer trade lanes. They let us use them, but they are the worst routes. Long, dangerous, unprofitable. They keep the good routes for themselves. There are 12 major trade routes controlled by the Council, said. If human ships appeared on all 12 at the same time, it would send a message. Shook her head slowly. They would see it as an act of war. No, said. We would not fire first. We would simply be there, using the routes, trading, existing, and if they try to stop us. He let the question hang in the air. Then they learn why survive, Wu finished. The room fell silent again. This time the silence felt different. It was not the silence of defeat. It was the silence before a storm. This could change everything, said quietly. For better or worse, there is no going back. There was never any going back, replied. From the moment we left Earth, from the moment we reached for the stars, this moment was coming. We just did not want to see it. Stop packing. What do we tell Earth, the Council, the Fleet Command? Thought for a long moment. We tell them the truth. We tell them that diplomacy has failed. We tell them that 50 years of patience has earned us nothing but contempt. And we tell them that there is another way. He walked to the communication panel and placed his hand on it. The screen lit up, ready to connect to Earth. My grandfather's village did not want to fight, said. They were peaceful people who wanted only to live in peace, but they learned something important. Sometimes peace must be defended. Sometimes the only way to earn respect is to demand it. He pressed the button. A signal began traveling across the vast distance of space, toward a small blue planet that had survived impossible odds for billions of years. Earth, said into the communicator, this is Ambassador of the Bright Dawn. I am sending a full report of today's council meeting along with a new proposal. He paused and took a deep breath. The time for asking is over. Now we show them what can do. The message ended. The signal flew through space at the speed of light. And somewhere on that small blue planet, a decision would be made that would change the galaxy forever. 3 weeks passed. 3 weeks of secret meetings, quiet preparations, and careful planning. Earth's military had worked day and night. Ships that had been sleeping in hangars were brought back to life. Captains who had spent years on patrol duty received new orders. Everything moved like a machine with many parts, each part knowing exactly what to do. Captain stood on the bridge of the Iron Tiger. She was a woman of 40 years with short black hair and eyes that missed nothing. She had joined the fleet at 18. She had risen through the ranks not by luck but by being better than everyone else. Her crew respected her. Her enemies feared her. Today, she would remind the galaxy why. "Status report," she said. Her voice was calm and steady. Lieutenant checked his screens. He was young, nervous, and very good at his job. "All ships in position, Captain. 12 fleets, 12 trade routes. We are ready." Nodded slowly. She looked at the trade route before her was called the Golden Path. It was the most profitable route in the galaxy. Ships carrying rare minerals, advanced technology, and precious goods traveled along it every day. The Council had kept it closed to humans since first contact. Today that changed. "Open a channel," ordered. "All frequencies. I want everyone to hear this." His fingers danced across the controls. "Channel open, Captain." Stood straight and faced the screen. She knew that billions of beings across the galaxy would hear her words. She had practiced this moment in her mind 1,000 times. Now it was real. "This is Captain of the Earthship Iron Tiger," she began. "I am speaking to all ships and stations in this sector, to all members of the Galactic Council, to all species who have called humanity primitive, dangerous, and unworthy." She paused. "Let them listen, let them wonder. For 50 years Earth has asked for your respect. We have followed your rules. We have accepted your insults. We have waited patiently at your door, hoping you would let us in." Her voice grew harder. "That time is over." On the bridge, her crew watched in silence. Some looked nervous, most looked proud. "Today, human ships have entered all 12 major trade routes. We are not here to fight. We are not here to conquer. We are here to trade, to travel, to exist as equals in this galaxy." Eyes narrowed. "We are done asking for permission. We are done waiting for approval." She took one step forward, and her voice dropped to something cold and dangerous. "You called us. You meant it as an insult. But let me tell you what it really means. It means we come from a world that tried to kill us every single day. It means we fought our way to the top of a food chain filled with monsters. It means we survived ice, fire, disease, and disaster. It means we are harder to kill than anything you have ever faced." Lieutenant's screen lit up with incoming signals. Other ships had heard the message. Some were council ships, some were merchant vessels. All were watching. "We do not want war," continued. "Humans have had enough of war. But we will not be pushed aside. We will not be treated as less than what we are. If you try to stop us, if you try to force us back to the dark corners of the galaxy, you will find out exactly what it can do." She raised her hand and pointed forward, toward the stars. "The Golden Path is now open to Earth ships. All trade routes are now open to Earth ships. This is not a request. This is a fact. Accept it and we can be friends. Fight it, and you will learn why we survived when so many others did not." She dropped her hand. "This message is over." Closed the channel. The bridge was completely silent. Then, slowly, someone started clapping. Others joined in. Soon the whole bridge was filled with the sound of applause. Held up her hand for silence. "Save it. The hard part has not started yet. What is happening on the other routes?" Checked his screens. "Reports coming in, Captain. Fleet 2 has entered the Silver Run. Fleet 5 is on the Crystal Path. Fleet 8 has reached the Iron Belt." He looked up, eyes wide. "All 12 fleets are in position. No resistance yet." "Yet," repeated. "They are shocked. They did not expect this, but they will recover. And when they do, they will try to stop us." As if on cue, the sensors began to flash. His face went pale. "Captain, Council ships approaching. Warships, 20 of them." Smiled. It was not a kind smile. "Good. I was starting to think they would not show up." The change to show the approaching ships. They were long and elegant, built for speed and precision. They had not fought a real battle in 300,000 years, but they still maintained a fleet. Old habits died hard, even for peaceful species. A communication signal flashed, nodded, and the face of a commander appeared on screen. His black eyes were filled with anger. "Human vessel," the commander said. "You are in restricted space. Leave immediately or face consequences." Crossed her arms. "I am captain of the Earthship Iron Tiger. I am on a public trade route. I am breaking no laws." "These routes are restricted to council members," the commander snapped. "You are not a member. Leave now." "I heard a new rule was made today," replied calmly. "Earthships can go wherever they want. I made that rule myself." The commander's four arms moved in patterns of rage. "You cannot simply make rules. The council decides. You are nothing but." "Finished for him." "Yes, I know. You have told us many times. Now let me tell you something, Commander. Your ships are fast, but they are fragile. Your weapons are precise, but they lack power. Your crews have never faced true combat. My crew has trained for this every day of their lives." She leaned closer to the screen. "I do not want to fight you, but if you force me to, I will take your ships apart piece by piece. And when it is over, I will continue on my way as if nothing happened, because that is what do. We keep going. We always keep going." The commander stared at her. His black eyes showed nothing, but could see the uncertainty in the way his arms trembled slightly. "Think carefully," said softly. "This does not have to end in violence. We can share these routes. We can trade together. We can build something better than what exists now. All you have to do is treat us as equals." The commander said nothing for a long moment. Behind him, his crew waited for orders. Across the sector, similar scenes were playing out on all 12 routes. Human ships facing council ships. Tension building like pressure in a sealed container. The galaxy held its breath. Finally, the commander spoke. "You will regret this, human. The council will not let this stand." The screen went dark. Turned to her crew. "Battle stations. It seems they need a lesson after all." The first shot came from a cruiser. It was a warning shot, aimed just in front of the Iron Tiger. The blue energy beam lit up the darkness of space like lightning. Captain did not flinch. "Return fire. Disable their weapons only. I do not want any deaths if we can avoid it." Lieutenant relayed the order. The Iron Tiger's guns roared to life. The sound was different from weapons. Louder. Angrier. Human weapons were designed by a species that had spent millions of years killing things. Every gun, every missile, every piece of armor on Earthships reflected that violent history. The first volley hit the cruiser exactly where wanted. Its weapon systems went dark. The ship drifted, helpless but alive. "One down," reported, 19 to go. But the other ships were already moving. They spread out in a formation that their training manuals said was perfect for this situation. Those manuals had been written during a war that happened before humans existed. The tactics were old. They did not know any newer ones because they had never needed to learn. Humans, on the other hand, had been perfecting the art of war since before they learned to write. Every generation had found new ways to fight, new strategies, new weapons. War was terrible, but it had made humanity very, very good at surviving. "Break formation," ordered. "Attack pattern 5. Let them see what chaos looks like." The human ships scattered. To sensors, it looked like the humans had panicked, fleeing in random directions. But it was not random at all. Each ship knew exactly where to go, exactly when to turn, exactly when to strike. The commander tried to give orders. His ships tried to respond. But they were trained for organized combat, clean lines, predictable movements. They were not ready for humans who fought like wild animals, attacking from every direction at once. Watched the battle from the bright dawn which hung at the edge of the combat zone. Ambassador stood beside her. They had insisted on being here even though they had no place in a battle. This was their doing. They needed to see it through. "They are losing," said quietly, "though they do not know how to react." Nodded, his face was grim. "I did not want this. I wanted them to back down. I wanted them to see reason. Some people only see reason at the end of a gun, replied. You taught me that. Your grandfather's story. Another ship went dark. Its crew was alive, but the ship could not fight anymore. Human ships swarmed around it like wolves around a fallen deer, then moved on to the next target. The battle lasted 4 hours. It felt like forever. It felt like seconds. When it was over, 19 warships floated dead in space. Not destroyed, but disabled. Their crews were scared and confused, but breathing. One ship had managed to run away, jumping to faster-than-light speed before the humans could stop it. It would carry news of this battle back to the council. Captain stood on her bridge looking at the wreckage of Pride. She felt no joy, only a deep, tired satisfaction. Casualties, she asked. Checked his reports. 3 of our ships took damage, no deaths, minor injuries only. He paused. They have no deaths either. You kept your word, Captain. Good, sat down in her chair. Her legs felt weak. The tension of battle was leaving her body and exhaustion was taking its place. Send a message to all disabled ships. We will provide medical aid if needed. We will help repair their life support systems. We are not here to kill, only to teach. The commander's face appeared on the screen again. His black eyes were different now. Before, they had shown arrogance and anger. Now they showed something else. Fear, but also perhaps a tiny bit of respect. Human captain, he said slowly. How did you do this? We had more ships, better position, superior technology. Looked at him for a long moment before answering. You had better tools, we had better training, we had better instincts, and most importantly, we had something worth fighting for. What could be worth this? The commander gestured at his broken fleet. Respect, said simply. The chance to be treated as equals, the right to exist without being called animals and monsters. You would be amazed what humans will do for those things. The commander was silent. Around him, his crew was trying to restore basic systems. They looked exhausted and defeated. You could have killed us all, the commander finally said. Your weapons are stronger than we believed. Your tactics are unlike anything we have seen. Why did you hold back? Stood up and walked toward the screen. Because killing you was never the point. We do not want to destroy you. We want to live beside you. We want to trade with you, talk with you, learn from you, and teach you in return. But we cannot do that while you treat us like bacteria on the bottom of your shoes. She spread her hands. This battle did not need to happen. If you had simply let us use these routes, we would have traveled in peace. We would have traded fairly. We would have caused no trouble. But you could not accept that. You could not imagine a world where our equals. The commander lowered his head. It was a gesture of defeat that had never seen from a before. The council will hear of this, he said quietly. They will send more ships, bigger fleets. They will not let this stand. Then we will beat those fleets too, replied. And the fleets after that, and the ones after that. We will keep fighting until you understand that we are not going away. We are not going to disappear back to our death world and pretend the galaxy does not exist. We are here. We will stay here. Forever. She paused and softened her voice. But there is another way. Tell your council what you saw today. Tell them about our strength. And tell them about our mercy. Tell them that we want peace. Real peace between equals. Not the fake peace where one side dominates and the other suffers. The commander looked at her with his strange black eyes. Something was changing behind them. Some old belief was cracking and breaking apart. I will tell them, he said at last, but I do not know if they will listen. Make them listen, said, because next time we might not be so gentle. Next time we might show you what really look like when they stop holding back. The screen went dark. Returned to her chair and closed her eyes. Around her, the crew began the long work of cleanup and repair. Across the galaxy, on 11 other trade routes, similar scenes were playing out. Human ships victorious, alien ships disabled, a message sent that could not be ignored. The reckoning had come, and the galaxy would never be the same. 1 month after the battle, Ambassador walked into the Great Hall of the Galactic Council for the 54th time, but everything was different now. The hall looked the same. The floating lights still glowed in many colors. The circular seats still rose toward the high ceiling. Hundreds of alien species still filled those seats, watching with their strange eyes. But the feeling had changed. Before, had walked in as a beggar asking for scraps. Now he walked in as something else entirely. Wu and walked behind him, stood taller than before. Wu's hands were relaxed at his sides, not clenched into nervous fists. Smiled softly, a sight had not seen in 30 years. They had all changed. The weight that had pressed down on them for so long was finally lifting. Coordinator Prill stood at the center of the hall. His 4 arms were still, not moving in their usual patterns of superiority. His black marble eyes watched approach. There was something new in those eyes. Not respect, perhaps. Not yet. But recognition. Acknowledgement that something had shifted in the balance of power. Ambassador, Prill said. His voice was different too. Still cold, still flat, but without the edge of contempt. The Council has reviewed the recent events. Events? Repeated. You mean the battles on the trade routes. The 12 fleets that defeated your forces without a single death on either side. A ripple went through the Council. Some aliens shifted uncomfortably. Others leaned forward with interest. The insect-like species clicked softly. The gas creature swirled in its containment field. Yes, Prill admitted. Those events. He paused as if the next words were painful to say. The Council has reconsidered its position regarding humanity. Did not smile, he did not celebrate, he simply stood and waited. Let them say the words. Let them speak their defeat out loud. Prill continued. We have observed that humans are more capable than we previously believed. Your military strength is significant. Your tactics are unlike anything we have encountered. Your determination is impressive. We could have told you all of this 50 years ago, said quietly. Her voice was calm but carried an edge. We tried to tell you. You refused to listen. Prill turned his black eyes toward her. For a moment, something flickered in them. Perhaps shame, perhaps resentment, perhaps just the difficulty of admitting error. You are correct, Prill said slowly. We underestimated your species. We judged you by your planet, by your history, by the violence in your past. We did not see the strength that same history gave you. He raised all 4 arms in a gesture that recognized. It was a gesture of offering, of invitation. The Council has decided to extend full trade access to humanity. All routes are now open to Earth ships. Additionally, we are prepared to offer Earth a seat on the Galactic Council. The hall erupted in sounds, protests from some species, approval from others, shock from many. A seat on the Council was not given easily. Some species had waited thousands of years for such an honor. Humanity had earned it in 1 month. Stepped forward. He looked around the great hall, meeting the eyes of every species he could. Some looked away. Some stared back with curiosity or fear or grudging respect. We accept, said. We accept the trade access. We accept the seat on the Council, but I want to be clear about something. The hall fell silent. We did not do this to conquer you, continued. We did not do this to prove that humans are better than anyone else. We did this because we had no other choice. Because 50 years of kindness and patience earned us nothing but insults. Because sometimes the only way to be heard is to speak loudly enough that no one can ignore you. He turned to face Prill directly. You called us. You said it like a curse. But let me tell you what we learned on our death world. We learned that survival is not guaranteed. We learned that you have to fight for everything you want. We learned that being kind does not mean being weak, and being strong does not mean being cruel. His voice grew warmer. We learned to help each other. Humans survived not because we were the strongest or the fastest but because we worked together. Because we cared for our sick and our old. Because we shared food with strangers. because we built communities from nothing and defended them with everything we had. He looked around the hall again. That is what we bring to this council, not just our strength in battle, but our strength in unity, our ability to cooperate across differences, our capacity for both destruction and creation. We can be the most dangerous enemies you have ever faced or the most loyal friends. The choice is yours. Prill was silent for a long moment. When he spoke, his voice was softer than had ever heard it. They have existed for 2 million years. In all that time, we have never encountered a species quite like yours. You frighten us, Ambassador. I will not pretend otherwise. Your capacity for violence is beyond anything we thought possible. He paused, but your capacity for mercy is equally surprising. Your ships could have destroyed our fleets. They did not. Your captain could have killed thousands. She chose not to. That is not the behavior of monsters. We never were monsters, spoke up. Her voice was strong and clear. We were just people trying to find our place in a very large galaxy, people who wanted to be seen and heard and respected. And now you are, Prill said, now you are. The ceremony continued. Papers were signed, or whatever aliens used instead of papers. Agreements were made. Hands and tentacles and other limbs were shaken. By the end of the day, humanity had officially joined the Galactic Council, not as observers or guests or tolerated pests, but as full members with equal rights and equal voices. As left the hall for the last time, he stopped at the great doors and looked back. The seat reserved for humanity was already being prepared. It would sit among the others, one voice among hundreds, but it would be there. Finally, after 50 years, it would be there. Walked up beside him. Do you think it will last, this new peace? Thought about it? I think it will be difficult. They will still fear us. Some will still hate us. There will be problems and conflicts and hard decisions ahead. But we have a chance now, a real chance. He smiled, the first true smile he had felt in years. My grandfather would be proud, I think. His village found peace by showing strength. Now Earth has done the same. We did not become monsters to earn our place. We simply refused to let others treat us like ones. They walked out into the light of 1,000 stars. Somewhere out there, Earth was spinning in its orbit, a small blue world that had produced the most surprising species the galaxy had ever known. The had arrived, and the galaxy would never be unprepared again.